Hello and welcome back to my reviews. It's been about 2 weeks I think since I uploaded my last one, which I think was Taken. I've been busy, I've been on holiday since then, and I've had other stuff going on, but now I'm back and I'm able to start getting back into the swing of things of reviewing films. And it's quite a good film to start off with, as a sort of return in a way. As the title suggests, this is a review for, I believe it came out in 2011, but anyway, this is a review for Drive. That's right. Drive follows a character played by Ryan Gosling, who is a Hollywood stunt driver, and by day, and by night he's a getaway driver for heists and stuff. And one of the heists that he's set up, he's doing, goes wrong, and he has to try and protect this woman and her son. He's kind of fallen in love with a woman, and it's about him trying to cope and survive through all the stuff that happens after this sort of robbery that he's doing as serving as a getaway driver goes wrong. He's trying to sort himself out after that. So, in summary, very briefly, Drive is really, really good, but it may take you may have to watch it, maybe twice or a few times to actually appreciate it. Okay, so let's just go in depth now. As I mentioned, lead actor is Ryan Gosling. Like Ryan Gosling, good actor. The film's got a really strong cast. Carey Mulligan, Bryan Cranston, Albert Brooks, Ron Perlman. A lot of good actors in this film. And one of the things I give the film credit for is that every character in the film has something to do. None of them are just sort of introduced, serve their purpose for 10 minutes and then left out. Well, that's important. Every character is part of a constantly moving plot, and it's nice. It's good. Drive is based off a novel, which I haven't read, and the story to Drive is really good. I like the story. The story is good, but the script. Now this is where things kind of get interesting, because Drive doesn't have too much of a script. And I'm not saying it's bad, because it's pretty good. But Drive is consisted of, rather than lots of dialogue and lots of people talking, a lot of it consisted of long silence with just the camera panning over people, scenery. One thing I will notice is that the film makes good use of the setting. It's set in Los Angeles, and it makes good use of the setting. And that's basically one of the strongest things that Drive has. It's a very visually arresting film. All the shots, well, not all of them, but some of them are just long shots of just the camera turning, letting you take in the atmosphere. Sometimes the editing is really quick, especially in some of the pursuit scenes. The editing and the camera work is quick, helps you keep it exciting when it is exciting. And this is maybe where this sort of might put off a few people, in that Ryan Gosling's character, who is simply known as the driver, doesn't have a huge lot of dialogue, and some of the dialogue he does have is kind of just quite minimalist. He never says a lot to people, and that might some annoy people. The long silences of the shots, and when it's just sort of not people talking, but the sound of car engines, and just sort of the score as well. That's something I should mention. Drive has a really, really good score. Some of it is score, some of it is songs that have been made for it by different people other than sort of Cliff Martinez, who did the majority of the score. A lot of the score is a very sort of dark, sort of electronic synth kind of feel to it. So that's all really good. And really, as far as bad things go with Drive, it really is just a matter of personal preference. I like a good visual film. I don't mind it. The silent parts didn't bother me too much. Ryan Gosling sort of not talking a lot didn't really bother me. The violence didn't bother me. And I'll mention this after I've talked about this bit. Drive is quite graphic at times, but I've never sort of been offended by violence in films. I've sort of if it looks cool and I've enjoyed it, or it's got something to do with the story, or if it's just well executed, I won't bitch about it. But when Drive gets violent, it gets violent. There is a scene in an elevator. I won't tell you what happens, but it's the kind of stuff that happens there that may put people off the film. I didn't have an issue with it. And one of the things is, and when I was after I watched the film, one of the things I was looking up some stuff about it. If you decide to watch the trailer first, don't let the trailers fool you. Drive is not an action film. It's not an action film. It's not completely It's not a completely crime film. It's a blend of the sort of neo-noir style with all the crime element, some elements of action, some elements of romance. It's a thriller as well, you could say. Don't be fooled into thinking it's a full-on action film. They actually learned that a woman in Colorado, I think she sued the theatre company, the cinema company, for misleading her into thinking that Drive would have been like one of the Fast and Furious films. As it turned out, it was boring, and she tried to sue some cinemas for misleading her. So, it's not a complete action film. Don't let the trailers fool you. So anyway, in summary, really good cast. Well, sorry, good cast. Cool story. Like the story to it quite a lot. For some, you may consider the dialogue, not that interesting, especially seeing as the driver doesn't actually have that much to say. I didn't mind. I enjoyed the sort of the long silent shots, like the camera moving, the camera panning in, zooming in, out. I didn't mind that kind of stuff at all. The violence I didn't mind. I thought the whole visual style of it all was really good. Really good score. Altogether, I will happily award Drive 5 out of 5, because for me, some people when they first saw Drive thought it was crap. Some people really didn't like it. But this is one of those films that gradually people have warmed up to it. They have kind of begun to appreciate it a bit more. I appreciate it from the first time I watched it, and I will surely watch it again sometime soon, because it's a really good film. And my advice is, if you didn't enjoy it, if you watched it, my advice would be, watch it again. Try and be patient with it. Try and just appreciate it, because the director is a guy called Nicholas Winding Refn, okay? And his films are kind of hit and miss with some people. Some people like them, some people think he's a really talented director, some people don't think he's a very talented director, some people think he's just some weird Danish guy with a fetish for violence and silent characters. I think he's a good director, but and this kind of leads into the next bit, in that what I want to see a sequel to Drive. There is a sequel to the book of Drive. I don't know what that's about, but I think if Nicholas Winding Refn went back to doing the Drive sequel, yes, I would watch it. I would happily watch it. But only if I'm pretty sure I would only watch it if they brought Nicholas Winding Refn back, because the sequels are pretty iffy thing to do with when you switch the director of the original. Like, quick example, take Kick-Ass for example. Kick-Ass it's got good reviews, people liked Kick-Ass, I liked Kick-Ass the film. And that was directed by Matthew Vaughn. Now Kick-Ass 2 has come out, that's directed by Jeff Wadlow. The reception so far hasn't been as warm. But I have heard pretty good things about that from some people though. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review, hope you found it informative, I hope you enjoyed it, and anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye.